What's it going to be, bro? Okay. Welcome back. The topic this week, um, tips of the trade of the healing business, ourselves and others. And yesterday we discussed one of the key features, components of healing, being healed, is judge not appearances, but judge the truth, how crucial that is. And a particular metaphor has come to my mind. And tell me if you can relate to this, if you've had this experience. If you've had kids, there were times when, I don't know, maybe they were little kids, roughly 4, 5, 6, somewhere in that range, where they'd come running back inside in hysterics with tears running down their face because some really bad things had happened. Uh, they were out and about, everything was going beautifully, and they tripped and they badly scraped up their knee. And then on the way back, a friend laughed at them, and then they got stung by a bee. And they come hurtling back into the house with the tears and the snot just running down their face, and that face of, and it's a catastrophe. And the job of the parent was to certainly be compassionate with such a situation, certainly to observe it and to bring as much soothing as possible. And oftentimes, not having kids, but I would imagine a strategy would be to pick the child up. And it's an interesting thing we do when we pick a child up. We're lifting their brain to the level of our brain. We might kneel down for a moment, but only to pick them up. In other words, if the mother were to suddenly go into the same state of mind as the child, hysterics, end of the world, impending doom, extreme emotionality, it would be, it would be a disaster for everyone involved. So this is not to say that the parent doesn't employ the greatest compassion. The parent bends over or kneels over to pick up the child, doesn't leave them down there struggling in misery, but goes down and gets them and then lifts their consciousness up to their level and then delivers the words, the soothing, the understanding, the wisdom, the insight, the patience, and the peace that the child needs, and how quickly the child can come out of that stage. It's the same for us when, if we're in the healing trade or if we wish to be healed ourselves, is to recognize those moments where everything has gone wrong and it seems as though we'll never get out of it, or we're in a condition that will never be healed. Now, maybe it's not we fell and we skinned our knee or we got stung by a bee, but maybe it's we're out of money and the bills are piling up, or we're in a really bad situation in our relationship, or something really dire has happened with our health. And on the inside, we got the tears running down our face, and it looks a bad business, doesn't it? That's an old-fashioned way of saying it. It looks a bad business, but we know that with an adequate, sufficient spiritual treatment, in other words, if we can find the part within our own selves that does not buy in to this seeming calamity, and that part of us is always inside of us unless it's been trained out of us and we get immediately swamped by situations, and then it takes much longer to rise up and out. So we can employ this with all the people in our lives that we would like to be a healing influence upon, and we certainly can employ this same strategy upon ourselves, that no matter what's happening, when the bee stings, when the dog barks, there's a song in there somewhere, when you're experiencing something other than your favorite things, that you know that all you have to do is kneel over and pick yourself up and get your consciousness up higher. And then whatever the negative situation must by nature fall away. It must disperse from our consciousness. So these are the tips of the trade in the healing industry, not just for others, but for ourselves. And it's this key, crucial element of not buying in to the appearance of things. The number one thing that people are addicted to, and take this from somebody in the recovery trade, certainly it's drugs and alcohol and gambling and all that stuff. But the number one thing that humans are addicted to is reality. We're addicted to the way things are, and we're addicted to the point where we think that that's the only way that it is. And so when we overcome our addiction to reality and see through it to what's really real, the underlying truth and love and wisdom, healing and well-being that underlies all of it, we will all become master healers and will be healed ourselves. And I'm going to heal myself from cat wounds. See you tomorrow.